Hey everybody, this is Abraham Garcia and this is my language contact numero tres for Spanish 218. So let's get started. So just to give an overview of what I did 30 minutes of reading in Spanish twice, but in different sort of contexts. To elaborate, for the first half hour, I had subtitles on my favorite Netflix shows, which included Grey's Anatomy, which is kind of like a medical show drama, and How I Met Your Mother as well, which is kind of like a more funnier kind of show. Moving on, also I read Bible verses. So some examples of those that I read were John 3:16, Philippines 4:13, and Psalms 37:4. And I just flipped through. I read some verses. I didn't continue end to end. So just to give some insight of what I learned for the Netflix subtitles, I learned a lot of new vocabulary. So you can see on the left-hand side, go through it. Tengo que cuidar de la gente y tú no eres uno de ellos. I have to take care of people and you're not one of them. That was from Grey's Anatomy. From How I Met Your Mother is this middle quote, which reads, ¿Cómo sabes que la prueba de ciudadanía canadiense es fácil? Es Canadá. Pregunta uno, ¿quieres ser canadiense? Pregunta dos, ¿realmente? So I thought it was pretty funny, or interesting, to read in the context of being funny, is what I mean. So what that quote means is, how do you know the Canadian citizenship test is easy? It's Canada. Question one, do you want to be Canadian? Question two, really? So I just thought it was interesting to grab that portion from the show. Lastly, la vida no es un deporte para los espectadores ganar, perder o empatar. El juego no está en el progreso, si lo queremos o no. So I thought that was more like, a universal, generalizable kind of a quote. So life is not a spectacular sport, win, lose, or draw. The game is in progress, whether you want it to be or not. And that's from Grey's Anatomy. So the importance behind this I found was the acknowledgement that Netflix already has by having these subtitle choices in different languages, but also in the perspective of a U.S. immigrant or child of a U.S. immigrant, they, come for a change of scenery and try to be accustomed to U.S. pastimes as much as possible, or at least familiarize themselves with it. And I found on Netflix is a current pastime that this whole new generation is growing accustomed to. So I thought those living here in the United States would find this very helpful by having this option of implementing subtitles. Moving onward, Bible verses. So here, the top one is John 3:16. Todo lo puedo en Cristo que me fortalece. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. The next one I have is Philippines 4:13. Oh, excuse me. The first one is Philippines 4:13. This one is John 3:16. So John 3:16 reads, Porque de tal manera amó Dios al mundo que ha dado a su Hijo unigénito para que todo aquel que en él creí no se pierda, mas tenga vida eterna. So, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. And lastly, Psalms 37:4. Delítate en el Señor y él te dará los deseos de tu corazón. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. So the importance behind this, religion is universal. It's all across the world in many shapes and forms, but still, it's universal. And in terms of the Bible, a lot of people can relate to it. In terms of the Spanish culture, I just found it in my mind, and speaking with my parents and other close family members, I find the Bible in Spanish culture a major outlet for a peace of mind, safety, strength when times are down, lost loved ones, and just overall those who may be going through a rough time right now. And some examples that could correlate to that is, drug cartels, deaths, killings, etc. in Mexico, and just mayhem from past news segments I've watched with gas price fluctuations going high, going low. So a Bible could be, a very safe choice or a source for people to go to when times are rough or just every day. So, in conclusion, in the end, I found reading the subtitles or watching Netflix to reading Bible verses for this week's Hour of Cultural Contact was fun to do and just overall insightful. Learning the new vocabulary, having that exposure, and the repetition for me is really important because when you're learning especially when you're learning a new language and even refining yourself if you already have a good base but just can't execute. So each new week's contact, each week's contact is a new hurdle each time. So, and that is my Spanish 218 cultural contact numero tres. Thank you.